Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Share and Learn. Let us learn about anti-adrenergic system. Adrenergic antagonists or anti-adrenergic drugs block the adrenergic receptors and thus produce opposite effects to that of sympathomimetics. Therefore, they are also called sympatholytics. Most of the drugs are competitive antagonists. Let us learn this mechanism with the help of a diagram. Now this is an adrenergic receptor with free binding site and it is blocked by an antagonist, and it doesn't let the agonist such as noradrenaline or adrenaline to bind with the receptor. Therefore, the sympathetic activity of the agonist is blocked. One exception is phenoxybenzamin, which binds to the receptor by forming covalent bonds and renders the receptor inactive. This effect lasts for 3 to 4 days until new adrenergic receptors are synthesized in the body. First, let us learn about anti-adrenergic drugs that block alpha receptors. They are divided into two categories: the non-selective alpha blockers and the selective alpha blockers. Drugs such as phenoxybenzamin, ergotamin, dihydroergotamin, phentolamine, etc., they are in the category of non-selective alpha blockers. That means they can block alpha 1 as well as alpha 2 receptors. In selective alpha blockers, there are alpha 1 selective blockers and alpha 2 selective blockers. Drugs such as parazosin, terazosin, tamsulosin, etc., they belong in the category of alpha 1 selective blockers, whereas euhimbin is a alpha 2 selective blocker. Let's have a look on their pharmacological actions. First action is on the blood vessels. The vasoconstriction, which is caused by the endogenous neurotransmitters, is blocked. Therefore, there will be reduced peripheral resistance. Also, the venous return is reduced because of blood pooling in the vessels, and the heart load will be decreased. Therefore, there is reduced cardiac output and BP falls. Reflex tachycardia is mainly because of the blockage of alpha 2 receptors. Alpha 2 receptors are present on the presynaptic membrane, where they control the release of neurotransmitter by negative feedback mechanism. Now, when the alpha receptors are blocked, there is uncontrolled release of neurotransmitter, which acts on the beta 2 receptors on the heart, leading to tachycardia. Nasal stuffiness is because of vasodilation of nasal blood vessels, which lead to congestion. Meiosis. Meiosis means constriction of pupil, which occurs because of relaxation of radial muscles of iris. Relaxation of the smooth muscles in urinary bladder and prostate gland takes place. Therefore, there will be increased urine flow. This is helpful in patients of benign hypertrophy of prostate. Gastrointestinal tract motility is increased, which may lead to loose motions. There is inhibition of ejaculation because of contraction of vas deferens and other related organs. Alpha blockers find their use in the treatment of pheochromocytoma. This is basically the tumor of adrenal medulla. Therefore, there will be excess production of catecholamines such as noradrenaline or adrenaline, which lead to hypertension. This disease can be diagnosed by urinary analysis or phentolamine test. In urinary analysis, the levels of catecholamine metabolites such as VMA, normetanephrine or metanephrine, they are estimated in the urine. And extraordinarily high levels of these metabolites, they are indicative of this disease. In phentolamine test, we administer 5 mg of phentolamine drug intravenously over 1 minute. If there is marked fall in systolic and diastolic blood pressure, it indicates pheochromocytoma. But this test is not a very reliable one. The therapy includes phenoxybenzamine, which is very important in inoperable cases. Alternatively, prazosin is also used. They also find their use in preoperative cases and intraoperative cases to control a marked rise in blood pressure because of excess of catecholamines. Another use of alpha blockers is in the treatment of benign hypertrophy of prostate. Hypertrophy means enlargement of the prostate gland because there is increase in the size of the cells, which will hinder urination. Additionally, the tone of the smooth muscles which are present in the prostate gland and the urinary bladder, that is increased, and this will exacerbate this condition. The therapy includes alpha-1 blockers like terazosin, doxazosin, tamsulosin. They act on these smooth muscles and relax them, therefore giving a symptomatic effect. But this effect only lasts when the drug is continued. Upon discontinuation of the drug, there is abolition of the symptomatic relief. Next is finasteride, which belongs to the class of 5-alpha reductase inhibitors. This drug arrests the growth and also decreases the size of prostate, which is the root cause of the disease. But this effect is seen on the prolonged use of the drug. Alpha blockers can also be used in combination with other drugs in case of hypertension, secondary shock, congestive heart failure, peripheral vascular diseases, and in the treatment of impotence. Adverse effects include postural hypotension, which is the first dose effect. This occurs because of vasodilation in the peripheral areas. Diarrhea is because of the increased GI motility. Impotence is because of the contraction of the vas deferens. Tachycardia occurs because of vasomotor reversal of Dale and also because of the inhibition of alpha-2 receptors. Nasal decongestion occurs because of the vasodilation in the nasal area. Now let us learn about antiadrenergic drugs which block beta receptors. They are divided into three categories on the basis of the sequence of their discovery. The first generation beta blockers. They are the oldest and the non-selective beta blockers like propranolol, sotalol, timolol, pindolol. The second generation beta blockers are cardioselective beta-1 blockers. Drugs such as metoprolol, atenolol, acebutolol, bisoprolol, esmolol are included in this category. The third generation beta blockers. These blockers have additional alpha blocking property as well as vasodilator property. They include drugs such as labetalol, carvedilol, butaxolol, celiprolol, nebivolol. Now let us have a quick look at the pharmacological actions of beta blockers and simultaneously discuss their adverse effects. Beta blockers produce negative inotropic effect on the heart. That means the force of contraction of the heart is reduced. It also produces negative dromotropic effect. That is retardation of the conduction velocity of the AV node. These two factors lead to decreased cardiac output. Also, the oxygen demand of the heart is reduced, therefore it relieves angina. The adverse effects include bradycardia. In bradycardia, the heart rate falls even less than 60 beats per minute. Therefore, it can also lead to cardiac heart failure. Beta blockers block the action of catecholamines on beta receptors. Thus, there will be blockade of vasodilation and subsequent fall in blood pressure. This is also known as re-reversal of vasomotor reversal. Initially, the total peripheral resistance is increased, but because of the fall in cardiac output, there is no effect on blood pressure. But on prolonged use of the drug, the blood vessels adapt themselves according to the decreased cardiac output, and the total peripheral resistance decreases. Therefore, there is fall in blood pressure. This property of beta blockers is used as antihypertensive therapy. The adverse effects of beta blockers include myocardial insufficiency. Because of the blockade of vasodilation, which is caused by beta 2 blockade, there is reduced supply of blood and therefore oxygen to the heart. This precipitates myocardial insufficiency. The another adverse effect is vasospastic angina. Now the alpha receptors, they cause vasoconstriction of the coronary blood vessels. This was opposed by beta receptors. Now when beta receptors are blocked, they will not be able to oppose the alpha receptors, and more vasoconstriction may worsen angina. As we learned in the last video, beta 2 receptors are predominantly present on the lungs, where they caused bronchodilation. Now, when these receptors are blocked, there will be bronchoconstriction and bronchial resistance will be increased. This can worsen chronic obstructive lung disease and there can be a fatal attack of asthma. Beta blockers produce mild effects on the central nervous system, which may include mild behavioral changes. There can be forgetfulness and increased dreaming. The adverse effects include nightmares and hallucinations. Beta antagonists are potent anesthetic agents, as potent as that of lidocaine, but it cannot be clinically used because it causes irritation of that area. Now let us see what metabolic effects do they have. Inhibition of beta 3 receptors in the adipose tissue causes blockade of lipolysis, which leads to increased level of triglyceride in the plasma and impaired LDL-HDL levels. Also, the glycogenolysis in heart, liver and skeletal muscles is decreased. The adverse effects include impairment of the lipid profile. LDL, which is bad cholesterol, is increased, whereas HDL, which is considered good cholesterol, is decreased. This may lead to coronary artery disease. Another side effect is carbohydrate intolerance in prediabetics. After prolonged administration of propranolol, insulin secretion is decreased. Therefore, the glucose which is present in the blood is not stored into liver and muscles. This leads to carbohydrate intolerance. In skeletal muscles, the adrenaline-induced tremors are inhibited, but the exercise capacity of the individual is reduced. This is because of decreased blood flow to the muscles, also because of inhibition of glycogenolysis and lipolysis, which were mainly providing fuel for working muscles, that is decreased in the muscles, therefore reducing the exercise capacity of individual. In the eye, aqueous humor secretion is decreased and intraocular pressure is reduced. Therefore, they can be used in case of glaucoma. There is no consistent effect on the pupil size or accommodation. No significant action is observed on the normal uterus, but the agonist-induced relaxation is blocked by propranolol. Other side effects of beta blockers include rebound hypertension. After prolonged therapy with propranolol, there is upregulation of beta blockers. That means the number of beta blockers is increased and their sensitivity is also increased. Now on the action of agonist, there is stimulation of the heart. This stimulation is so strong that it can worsen angina. Therefore, the withdrawal of drug should always be gradual. Other side effects include GIT upset, cold extremities which is because of blockade of vasodilation, and sexual distress in males. Beta blockers find their use in the therapy of hypertension, angina pectoris, cardiac arrhythmias, myocardial infarction, cardiac heart failure, thyrotoxicosis, prophylactically in migraine, and glaucoma. I hope you have a better insight into this topic now. If you do so, like and share this video and subscribe to my channel. If you have any queries, message me in the comment section below. See you in the next video. Bye bye.